Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, December 30th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, we are looking at RGTI. Been tracking this one on a very routine basis. And once again, it's put in higher highs and higher lows. So definitely some updates once again need to be done as it's given us a good solid pattern here. So let me map this out. So let's change that to red to represent resistance. And then the bottom part of the pattern right here, we'll change that to green for support. And then just maybe to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all one color here. So we have our area of resistance up here. We have our support, and this is a multi-day pattern because just a couple days ago price was there. Now it's all the way up here. And then for you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price were to come up here to the top part of the pattern and then get the break, that break right there could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a more than plausible scenario. Again, no guarantees, but that by no means is some sort of crazy thought. That would just be a basic classic bull pennant breakout. So if you like this price range, if you like bull pennant patterns, then keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol GTI. Very nice mover and almost a case of deja vu because we have ourselves another solid pattern here. The one difference with this pattern is I'm not going to use an upward trend line. Let's just use that pink line there, which on my chart denotes the very well known, the very famous 200 period moving average. And right there you can see that's why it's famous. Really just, presented a problem for the chart. That's not to say that the price can't break above that area. I'm just saying it makes sense why that area, did indeed present some problems today. So keep an eye on that as the upper part of the pattern. And then as far as the lower part is concerned, we have that area right there. And then just to make it easier to see, especially in this situation, since we're not fully using trend lines, let's keep it one color. So again, that 200 period moving average, we're going to let serve as our top trend line. Then we have our bottom trend line right there of support. We have the big explosive move right there. We have the golf hole down here. And yeah, you got it. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I'd say the biggest difference here is just the price range that this one is forming in. But now you have a good variety of bull pennant patterns. So yes, very nice mover today. Nice consolidation. So let's see if the price can indeed get the break in the upwards direction next week. Next one here, AILE. Nice pattern here as it's gotten a pullback and is now starting to show some signs of life, which makes it interesting because during these moments, yeah, you don't want to be the sucker that buys the top. But then when it starts to drop and drop and drop, it always gets a little sketchy because, was this just some sort of one-day wonder pump and dump? But with this one, that was seemingly not the case as the price at least has started to go sideways and now get a little upwards movement. Now, these two things don't guarantee that this thing is going to go all the way back to the highs, but it becomes more plausible now to throw out there and suggest, okay, maybe this pullback is over, maybe this thing's getting ready to curl back upwards. But with the late day movement here, I think we have a very well-defined level, and I'm defining well-defined as probably the amount of other people that have drawn that area right there. So keep an eye on that resistance line right there. Like I said, I think a lot of people have drawn that area, and when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So if you like to play breakouts, I would certainly keep an eye on that resistance line up there. In terms of levels of support, main area that I would keep an eye on, if there is any sort of pullback, is just the bottom part of this consolidation, which is right there around 50.5 cents right there. But all things considered, nice surge up, got a bit of a pullback. Now things are looking like they might want to curl back upwards, but definitely keep an eye on that resistance trend line. Next one here, LAES, and I'm going through this one very quickly because you've already heard me talk about it several times. But in terms of patterns, we have a very well-defined area right up there at that $10 mark. So let's get that to red. I mean, looking back through the history of things, you can see that, there's no doubt about it. Rejected the price a couple times there. Tried again right there. So $10 will be the top part of that pattern and the key break point. And then in terms of areas of support, no need to overcomplicate it. Have yourselves a nice little uptrending trend line right there. So you'll want to keep an eye on that. And then just, again, because I cannot help myself, let's just make sure that everybody can see it. Let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big upwards move here. Golf hole down here. So this is another multi-day bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, you're definitely getting a good variety here headed into next week. You know, and some days are just like this. So next one here, ticker symbol LITM. And yeah, you probably maybe already know what I'm going to start to talk about. But like I said, some days they just give a lot of, there's not a whole lot of variety. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just kind of is what it is. So I would definitely say today was a bull pennant day across the market for a lot of these. So there is our area of resistance. Here is our area of support. And then, so resistance, support, big upwards move here, golf hole down here, yeah, another bull pennant pattern. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah, I want to respect your time as much as possible. But yes, bull pennants everywhere I look. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free on-demand class. So if you've been enjoying what I've been talking about and want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then get signed up for that class. All you got to do is submit your email, and then you'll be able to go and watch it. So that way it can fit into your schedule and be as convenient as possible for you. So like I said, if you're enjoying, then definitely get signed up, and yeah, find some time in your schedule to watch this free class. Next one here, ticker symbol QSI. So let's get some levels here mapped out. Nice mover today. And now moving forward, just a question of, where some of these key levels are that you would like to see hold. So the ideal level, I mean, if you say, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? That would be if the price could stay up there above $3.30. Now, don't get me wrong. If the price falls below there, that does not mean the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could stay above that level, that would certainly be a very, very impressive sign of strength moving forward. But taking a step back and looking at things from the bigger picture point of view, that is where the purple line there comes into play, the 50-period simple moving average. Keyword being moving, because as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and essentially serve as a trend line that's drawing itself for you. In fact, I like to call moving averages trend lines for lazy people, because if you don't feel like drawing a trend line, just let the moving average draw it for you. But my point here is that from the big picture standpoint, as long as the price stays above that moving average, then from the overarching stand, the price is still fully in the bull's favor. Now, I understand that if you're some sort of day trader or scalper and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 3 minutes, yeah, then you don't care about that moving average or anything like that. So I'm trying to make the distinction. I'm talking about more so the big picture point of view. And then in terms of areas of resistance, main level that stands out to me is right up here around that location of about $3.90. I realize the price did technically go above it, but there's just more price congestion right around $3.90. So in my opinion, at least, that's going to be the main battleground moving forward. But all in all, QSI, definitely a very impressive end to the week. Next one, INTZ. Very crazy day when you just stop and actually think about how things went. Big gap up, nasty move down, nice move up. Then all of a sudden it started to pull back again and is now working its way back upwards. So within the context of the day, very nice job of the price just building higher lows, and that's what it's all about. Assuming you care about the bigger picture, higher lows is the name of the game. So definitely going to want to keep an eye on that dynamic. But in terms of areas of resistance, what I'm going to do is just throw in the area right here, because that area has done a fantastic job, or that line, I should say, has done a fantastic job of showing where the battlegrounds have been. So definitely continue to watch that moving forward. And the nice thing about these trend lines is, in theory, the price could never, ever break above that line, but the price could still potentially slowly be grinding higher and higher, because, that trend line right there does have an upward slant to it. So just keep that in mind as the upper part of the pattern. And then on the flip side of things, we have that area of support right there. In all actuality, what we have here is a rising wedge pattern, which is bearish. Now, let me be very clear, just because, and like I said, just because something's bullish does not mean the price is going to go up. Just because something's bearish, price does not mean it's going to automatically go down. But even if it were to come down, this pattern does not mean a full-blown crash, but maybe it needs to pull back a little bit more and come down to right around there. But from an overall standpoint, that'd still be fine, because if the price just kind of hovers around this area right here, what would you still have from the bigger picture standpoint? Well, you'd still have a set of lows right here. You'd still have a set of lows here. You'd have these lows down here. You envision those as stair steps. And overall, the stair steps would be plenty fine. So just because it's a bearish pattern does not mean a crash or anything like that is happening. But just based on the pattern that's formed today, it is suggesting that some sort of pullback may be needed. Next one here, SES. And yeah, you guessed it. We got ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Although what's very interesting about this one is it's a slightly different, because this one has actually already broken out. So on that note, if you are somebody that likes to play breakouts, well then yes, technically speaking, you have missed it, because it is technically breaking out. But this action here does lead to a very exciting question. That question being, is this the start of something bigger? Now, to be fair, Maybe it's not. Maybe the price rolls right back over, but maybe it is. And you got to think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question unless something worthwhile is happening. And in this situation, something worthwhile is happening, right? A breakout has begun. So that doesn't guarantee that there's going to be any further upwards momentum, but it certainly makes it plausible and makes it make a lot of sense to at least be asking that question. So if you're someone that likes to catch breakouts and see if there's continuation and try to play momentum, and you like this price range down below $5, here you go. Let's see if this is indeed the start of something bigger for next week. Next one, KULR, and in my mind, I think a lot of people probably drew this line. I guess I don't know that for sure, but to me, this seems like a pretty well-defined area. If you can just kind of ignore that movement right there, there just really seems to have been this flat top area that has formed, and it's just been pretty stubborn in terms of just not allowing the price above it. So right here was a bunch of problems. When the price got above it, went nice, but then the price fell back below it, and once again went right back to acting as resistance. So moving forward, right down here around the $5 mark is definitely going to be public enemy number one if there is going to be any sort of bigger move in the upwards direction. But with all that being said, of kind of the annoyance of that $5 mark, at the same time all that was occurring, you can see the bulls did, and then we're slightly working on, a nice little miniature uptrend here. So you got a nice uptrending trend line, nothing massive, but like I said, you are ultimately having this little wedge formation that's forming. So going into next week, really just a question of can the price come up here to the top part and get the break or not. So definitely an interesting scenario, and we'll see what next week has to offer. Next one, PDYN, and overall nice mover, especially if you like pullbacks. When it gets up to these situations, it's always, am I going to be the sucker that buys the top? And, you don't have to worry about that anymore because there were already the suckers that bought the top, and then it pulled back, but the pullback was not a crash or anything like that. Now, let me be very, very clear. Just because you're not buying the top doesn't mean that this pullback is going to turn out to be healthy and go sideways and ultimately return back upwards. Now, I don't think that would shock anybody, especially given the overall uptrend. But, once more, just because you haven't bought the top doesn't mean it's going to be a guaranteed successful trade. But my point here is if you do and consider yourself somebody that likes to find uptrends and likes to find pullbacks within the uptrend, that's become pretty evident here with the pullback that's occurred right there. So keep an eye on that dynamic. And then in terms of just areas of resistance, if this upwards move is going to continue to battle upwards, next key level to watch, going to be right up here around $13.15. In my opinion, if the price can come up here and get a good high volume break of $13.15, then I think it's got a good chance of going to those highs, if not break it even higher. But anyway, look at it. Fantastic uptrend form this week. You got the pullback. So let's see if the price does indeed want to curl back upwards for next week. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a moment, but again, for you stock traders out there, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used, then submit your email and get signed up so that you can go watch this class sometime over the weekend. So just find a little bit of time in your schedule and you'll be able to do that. So definitely get signed up. And if you enjoy these top 10 videos and if you want to support the channel in a super easy and free way, please hit that subscribe button and make sure to just hit that like button. But definitely go check out the free class sometime over this weekend. Now, one quick clarification here on Bitcoin. We are no longer on the 30-minute time frame. We are on the 4-hour time frame. So instead of each one of these candlesticks representing 30 minutes, each one represents 4 hours. And that is because Bitcoin is open 24/7, and I want this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible. So by using a longer time frame and then walking through some basic questions, that'll help keep this updated for as long as possible. So let's just say that you're watching this video for argument's sake sometime on Sunday afternoon. Question number one that you need to ask yourself is this: where is the price at relative to 92,000? 92,000 has now become a very, very important level. And just going back a little bit more in the chart's history, you can see that there's been several times now where the price has come down here and done a very good job of respecting that area. So if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, it's Sunday afternoon, I'm watching this, and the price is down below 92,000. This is where common sense kicks into play. Okay, well, that's a bad situation. How bad? Well, how far down below from 92,000 is it? The further down below 92,000, the worse the weekend has become, and the more the bulls have taken back over control of the current move that was in play right here. Maybe you're saying, well, Clay, actually, no, I'm watching this and the price is up above 92,000. Fantastic. Next question would be, where is the price at relative to this area up here at the $100,000 mark? If some way you're saying that the price is up above 100,000, that's a good situation any way you look at it. The further up above 100,000, the better. But yeah, breaking above 100,000 would be good. But maybe you're just saying, well, Clay, the price is down below 100,000, but it is still up above here. Well, at that point, you just have consolidation, and right now we officially have a sideways channel pattern that's been going on now for the past several days. And, if the price, like I said, if you're answering the question that the price between these two levels, then at that point, like I said, it would just simply be the best way to summarize that moment in time would just be sideways consolidation. So, yes, grab your popcorn and let's see if Bitcoin is indeed going to make a break of this sideways channel sometime over the weekend. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for the class here, because what you learn about in it can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So as mentioned earlier, just get signed up with the link down below, click it, submit your email, and you'll be able to watch the class at your earliest convenience. And once again, as far as these top 10 videos are concerned and me just doing Bitcoin, if you enjoy and if you want to just support the channel in an easy way, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really does help out. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.